So what stands out right away about this is how the peppermint is actually built directly into the diatomaceous earth instead of it being just a plain powder on its own. A few other things that you should know is that the texture is still a very fine dry powder that you expect from food grade diatomaceous earth, but the peppermint changes the overall experience quite a bit when you open up the bag and start to spread it around the edges and entry points. The bag itself, feels pretty manageable enough to carry around the house, store anywhere, or garage without feeling oversized. And I like that this stays more focused on a more minimal ingredient approach instead of looking overloaded with extra additives or fillers. What you might be wondering is how this compares to your standard diatomaceous earth powder without peppermint. The short version is that the core powder format still feels very familiar, but the peppermint gives it a more fresh scent profile compared to the dusty neutral smell that the plain versions usually have. If someone is sensitive to strong mint smells though, this is probably something that you want to keep in mind before using it in a tighter indoor space. I can see this fitting well for people who regularly treat garages, patios, sheds, or areas around doors and windows where crawling insects tend to show up repeatedly. It also makes more sense for someone who prefers dry powder application instead of sprays or sticky traps. Powder itself spreads really easily once you start working it into the cracks and corners, and because it is food grade diatomaceous earth, it feels more versatile for different types of spaces where people want a more straightforward ingredient approach. The peppermint scent is noticeable without smelling overly artificial, and the texture stays dry and lightweight while applying it. One thing that I like is that this doesn't feel complicated to keep around for routine use. The bag is easy enough to store on a shelf or in a garage cabinet, and the powder format makes it easier to apply only where I want it instead of spraying an entire area. Overall, this feels like a more practical version of standard diatomaceous earth for someone who wants the powder format, but also wants the added peppermint element built into it from the start.